Yes, indeed, guys. Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Jay Jordan, and it's the morning after, the night before. It's Sunday, June 9th. The Liberty played on Saturday, June 8th at 1 p.m. on ABC against the undefeated 9-0 Sun. And I'm happy to say that the Liberty did end that undefeated business. They beat the Sun, final score 82-75. I didn't get to watch the game live. I ended up watching it late last night when I got home, and I said, let me make sure I get this recap done because in a couple hours I'll be heading to the back-to-back game the Liberty have, where they're hosting the Washington Mystics at 3 p.m. Eastern. All right, so as usual, guys, I'm going to touch on the game itself. I'm going to go over the box score and give my thoughts at the end. So if you like this type of content and you want me to continue to create it, make sure you leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. Set it to all so you get notified anytime I post or I have lives scheduled. Salute. All right, so the Liberty riding a 5-game winning streak coming into this game. It was a highly anticipated matchup. It's a Commissioner's Cup matchup, so the stakes were a little higher than just a normal regular season game. The Sun at the time were 9-0, and they had some pretty close games as well. So it wasn't like they were super dominating all the teams. There were some close games and some blowouts, of course. And the Liberty were coming off playing the Dream in Atlanta. So they flew from Atlanta, probably flew back to New York, and then took a bus ride up to Connecticut. But the starting lineups for the team, Vandersloot was out again for personal reasons. So we went with Sabrina Ionescu, Benigelaine Hamilton, Kayla Thornton, Brianna Stewart, and Jonquel Jones. For the Connecticut Sun, they went with Ty Harris, Dejanay Carrington, Dewana Bonner, Alyssa Thomas, and Bree Jones. There's a little history there. Jonquel played with the Sun for 7, 8 years and was traded to New York 2 seasons ago. So there's a little history there. I don't know if the relationship is the greatest between the organization and her, but that's neither here nor there. She likes playing in Connecticut. So, in typical New York fashion, New York gets out to a hot start. They're beating up on Connecticut, executing plays. The defense is popping. Connecticut is missing some shots, but New York went on a nice run to end the first quarter. Ended the quarter with a 10-point lead, 28-18. And as you know, for the second quarters for the Liberty, that's been the Achilles heel. They let teams right back into the game in the second quarter. So after some back and forth, some scoring droughts, some bad shot selection, and the Sun actually starting to execute their offense, that second quarter ended at 39-39. Tie game, very low scoring quarter for the Liberty. Again, they only scored 11 points in that quarter. So it's something about those second quarters for the Liberty that they have acknowledged, but they've yet to rectify. So at 39-39, you're like, okay, at least we're still tied in this game. We gave up the lead, but let's see how they do in the third. In the third quarter, came out pretty lax. They couldn't get any good shot selections. They were getting some free throws, but field goal wise, they were struggling. And towards the end, they picked it up, but the Sun still had the lead. They outscored them 21-18 in that quarter. So they had a 3-point lead going into the fourth. And in that fourth quarter, the first 2 minutes or so, the Sun started to pull away. I think they got it to about a 5-point lead, but then Jonquel Jones and Sabrina Ionescu, contributions from Leonie and Brianna Stewart as well. They started putting their foot on the gas, executing, not turning the ball over, playing solid defense, and they pulled away, outscored them 25-15 in the quarter, and finished the game with the final score 82-75. Sabrina Ionescu had the game-sealing layup off a nice screen from Jonquel from sideline out of bounds play, which put the nail in the coffin there. So the Liberty, with that win, ended up clinching a place in the Commissioner's Cup final. For those who are unaware, the Commissioner's Cup this year is only 5 games as opposed to 10 games from last year. They play each of the opponents in their conference one time, and whoever has the best record out of that is the Commissioner's Cup representative for their conference. There's some tiebreaker scenarios in which the head-to-head is the first tiebreaker, and then point differential would be the second. So since no other team in the Eastern Conference has as good of a record as the Liberty, and the next best would be the Sun, but since the Sun have now lost, the Liberty by default clinch the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference for the Commissioner's Cup. All right, so let's take a look at the box scores. The box scores for this game. So we'll start with the Liberty. We have Sabrina Ionescu. Played 34 minutes, 24 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 2 turnovers, and a +8 in her minutes. Hit all of her free throws. Was 2 for 6 from 3. I will say she went 4 for 4 in the first quarter. That second and third quarter, she started to struggle, and then the fourth quarter, she came back alive and scored. For Ionescu Hamilton, 36 minutes, 10 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. She's playing a little bit more of the point, a secondary ball handling role with Vandersloot out, which is why the high number of assists. She didn't make any threes, and she's still struggling with traveling. She had a couple of turnovers with travels, but she was a +14 in her minutes. Kayla Thornton got another start, had 6 points, 2 for 5 from the field, 1 for 2 from 3. Brianna Stewart, Alyssa Thomas was playing really good defense on her. She had 38 minutes, 13 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, and +12 in her minutes. And then Jonquel Jones, 22 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 for 7 from 3. She had some big threes in that fourth quarter to get the lead, tie the game, and then give the Liberty the lead as well. Had 4 blocks in that game and limited fouls with 2, which is a great sign. Our bench, you had Leo Fevich, had 16 minutes, 7 points, 2 assists, 5 fouls. She was getting called for some soft fouls, but that's the game. Kennedy Burke only played 4 minutes, didn't score, but had a rebound and an assist. And Dojkic had a minute and no other counting stats. Let's take a look at the Connecticut Sun. Their starters: Ty Harris, 38 minutes, 11 points, 1 for 6 from 3. Dejanay Carrington, 12 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Dewana Bonner had 16 and 8, 2 for 6 from 3. Alyssa Thomas played all 40 minutes, 10 points, 12 rebounds, 7 assists. She plays a lot of minutes. She plays basically the whole game all the time. She did have 5 turnovers. And Bree Jones, 13 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists. Their bench: Tiff Mitchell came off the bench, gave them good minutes, scored like 10 points in that first or second quarter when she came in. Nelson Adodo only played 5, only had 1 point. Banham had 0. Burton had 0. All right, so my thoughts on this game: Liberty go to a 6-game winning streak. They end the Connecticut Sun's undefeated streak. They're at 9-1 now. Positives: they clinched the Commissioner's Cup spot, as I mentioned. A controversial take for me may be I may like this lineup better than the Vandersloot starter lineup. I think we should stick with this lineup personally, and then you can still give Vandersloot her minutes and play her with the current starters, but you want her to basically be the bridge between the starters and the bench, because I've noticed when we put the bench in, some of the communication isn't there, and having a true point guard like Vandersloot on the floor to direct the bench players, the role players, where to be, would be instrumental in their development, and it would give Sabrina, when Sabrina goes to the bench, we'll have a primary ball handler on the floor who's fresh of energy, instead of playing them both together, taking one off, and then having to switch between the two. I think, and plus with Vandersloot's age, it would give her some time to rest and not be playing as much or demanded of as much as compared to when she's starting. So she will be lasted or ready for the postseason. Other than that, I'm liking the development of the team. I need our players to hit a little bit more threes consistently. They have some wide open shots that should be knocked down, but and also the second quarters. They keep mentioning that they're aware of it, but they need to stop being aware of it and actually do something about it. The Liberty play again in a couple hours. Since I'm recording this on Sunday, June 9th. They play again at 3 p.m. Eastern against the Washington Mystics. That is also a Commissioner's Cup game. It's a back-to-back for the Liberty. So I'm expecting the starters not to play as much. I know they want to continue to win, but long-term preservation is better. But the thing is, the Liberty don't play again until Friday or Saturday after today. So they have a nice long break. Yeah, they don't play again until the 15th, it looks like, against the Aces. So after today, they have a nice 5 to 6 day break where they can actually get to practice and work on some things there. All right, people, thanks for tuning in as always. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel, turn those noti bells to all, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Salute.